That's my method in a nutshell. It's the most junior lesson you've ever taken. That's what I give to tour players. It's what I give to coaches. It's what I give to scratch players and beginners.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Really excited to have Martin Ayres back on the channel a couple days ago. We did a video with Martin that was really popular on the channel where we were talking about his philosophy of the golf swing. And in general, Martin, it seemed there's a really great engagement on this video. And there's lots of people that said, I love what he's saying. He seems like a really, there's some kind of genius in there, but they just don't know what to do with that really interesting information. So, and then other people were saying, hey, I tried this and it was all just basically like an academic exercise, but nothing that any meat that I could grab into.
Yeah.
So I wanted to address that straight away. Are you like a golf swing philosopher, or is there some stuff in here that people, without seeing you directly, could actually sink into and start? Because I think the intoxicating part about this is that there is actually a switch that can be flipped. And if you change this perception, your golf game will improve, not over the course of a year, like you're talking about, over the course of a range session.
And also on an ongoing. So think of it as a trajectory, okay? Because if you're doing the right things, then you will be in a positive feedback loop with your golf game day on day on day. Shot on shot on shot, even though, of course, you'll hit bad shots, you'll make mistakes. But if you're thinking the right things and your approach is the right approach, you will be engaged in a positive feedback. If you're willing to contend with the game of golf, which changes from shot to shot to shot and day to day to day, then you ought to be willing to contend with some ideas that are a little bit of a challenge. It's just like you're not going to learn anything meaningful if I just advertise to you, right? And that's I've got a good swing. I know this. I've got a good swing, people. I don't need anyone to tell me that, actually. But if I wanted to just make money, right, then I just sell some bullshit thing that, hey, this is what I'm doing and this is how I'm swinging, and they can easily understand it, and then they buy the thing, and then 5 minutes later, they're like, oh, it didn't work for me.
Well, some of the contention is that some people were saying that they think that you are being intentionally obtuse in order to sell something.
Yeah, absolutely incorrect. On that note, if they can find an advertisement for me advertising my golf instruction, then by all means have at it. You can say that. But, I've never advertised golf lessons. The closest thing I've done to that is I've said, if you want to reach out to me, you want some, here's my email. Here's how you can get in touch with me. I've not made any claims. I'm not seeing you saying you'll lose 5 shots off you. I've never done that. Okay. It's not about that. What it's about is that if you have this is how I would frame what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I'm going to give people a first class education in what the golf swing is, how it works, what to do in the golf swing. The how to do it, once you understand those things, the how to do it isn't that big a deal. That's why 5-year-olds can do it. A 5-year-old can do it. We remember Jaden Song? You remember seeing Jaden Song swing when he was 5 years old, that kid?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he qualified for the U.S. Open this year, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay. So that guy, when he's 5 years old, and I know you say, well, he's talented, okay, but there's a lot of 5-year-old kids who can swing it good. And they didn't need to be told how, is my point. And so what I aim to do is give you a junior lesson in the practical application of it, because you've got a first-class education in what it is that you're doing. And adults need that, what it is you're doing. If they don't have that, they will abandon the junior pure feel as soon as they hit a bad shot. They will just say, that mistake is unacceptable to me. I need to fix that mistake, even though it was just simply they screwed it up.
So let's get real clear and big picture first. Reiterate, the big picture is your contention that people are looking at the golf swing backwards. What's the main contention? Is it something to do with there's motion, and then you have to keep your swing contained, trailing that motion the entire way until a certain point? There's an interaction is the key. The thing that cuts through everything you just said there
you and the golf club are involved in this, okay? And most instruction deals with the golf swing as though it's purely what the player is doing to the golf club creates the golf swing, as if what the golf club does to the player is ignored.
Right.
Okay. Whereas you have to look at it at least as a 50-50 proposition.
If we just think about the physics of it, you're saying like once the golf club gets in motion, at the start, it's 2 or 3 miles an hour. Then it starts to get, in the backswing to about 20, and then it's 0. And then again, near the bottom, it's at like 100. You're saying that creates incredible forces that have to be dealt with that people are not taking into account.
That's right. And
okay.
It's more than that in a sense though, because it doesn't really return to 0 here in transition is the point. So
gotcha.
It's not merely what the camera sees as momentum. You want to think of it this way. Scotty Scheffler is a great example of this, okay? Because he might even be the best example of this for the reasons that will become obvious to people in a second, is that you are responsible in this interaction with the club. You are responsible for basically the way in which that club, the direction and force and momentum and everything that club takes off, okay? Then at a point later in the backswing, for all players that are really good, the club more or less takes over the show. Now, it doesn't mean the player disappears, but it's an interaction. So you think of it like a teeter-totter, okay? The person that is on the way down is pushing the person up. But now the person who's up, who's been pushed up, they're in the position of leverage. Whichever person is the force that's lowering one is what is fighting gravity for the other, right? It's the one side, then the other. And that's what I'm trying to portray here, is that you set the tone for the club, and then the club sets the tone for the downswing. Now, that in itself is a radical idea for me. I understand that. But the reason I'm proposing such a radical idea is because it is what the best players are doing. And there is absolutely no question in my mind that that's what's happening. Now, the reason that that's preferable is that it is more predictable, because all you have to do is set the tone once and ride the show to the end.
And then I come to 18, and I now got a 3-iron, 4 to win. And I got over that thing, and that's when everything becomes automatic. And I just kept saying to just take it away. If I can just get it moving, if I can just get the club to there, just get it to, and I took it away.
Right, which is a hell of a lot better than you setting the tone one way, stopping, setting the tone the other way, and then timing the whatever you're going to do down the bottom. This is available to anyone who's willing to contend with the ideas. If you're not interested in contending with the ideas and you want to dismiss it out of hand, that's okay with me too. I really don't care, because I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just pointing out that what's available to you is a lot better than what you're currently producing. And the reason you're unable to produce it is because you've got the wrong idea.
And one of those ideas I wanted to bring up that I think is super important, that I want to talk about again, if we didn't get it on our last time, is that right now, all the hottest thing in golf instruction, in both golf instruction and also like there's a small niche field of scientists who study the golf swing, is ground reaction forces. Yeah. And they're crucial and important. But you said you said probably even more important are the club reaction forces, which, although right now with the swing catalyst and some other things, we can really measure in high level what's going on into the ground.
Yes.
But these club reaction forces,
which I support, I support that research. I love the whole ground reaction forces stuff. I'm into that myself. Like, I don't
talk about like what is club reaction forces, and then how could we feel that to start utilizing that to hit better golf shots.
Okay, so there's a drill I use, and I unashamedly use this with professional golfers, and people who've never picked up a golf club in their lives. And I call it the baton twirl drill. And the reason I call it the baton twirl drill is that the idea is that you get the two ends of the club swinging around each other like a baton. And then you just get it swinging end over end like that, and that you then respond to that. Once you set the tone and the club takes over, your role is to respond to the club. And people will respond to a swinging club in a motion that's much better than the one they're trying to produce. Okay? Now, unfortunately, most of instruction tells you how to move in the downswing, let's say, if it's talking about the downswing, when I believe the whole downswing is a pure reaction to a club that's already on its way to the end of the swing and doesn't need any help. It doesn't need to be squared. It doesn't need to be manipulated, okay? It's already doing what it needs to do, swinging. It just needs to keep swinging without you messing it up. This is a drill I've got called the baton twirl drill. The reason for this is to feel the sequence and the ease with which you can follow the club. Okay, so I'm going to get the club swinging. Okay, so I'm just going to let it swing end over end. I'm not going to move it.
Okay.
See, I'm not moving it. I'm swinging it end over end. Now, end over end attached to me does not mean it spins in place, right? Obviously, it covers more ground than this, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because I'm hanging on to it, so it covers more ground. End over end becomes a whole swing. End over end, end over end. Now, if I let it go end over end first, and then I follow it, you can see how easy this gets. And I'm not making any effort to move this thing. I'm just letting it swing end over end. And you see how consistently I can do that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what do you think about that? What does that say to you? How am I managing to hit these positions so consistently?
I'm not going into it.
End over end. And once it starts swinging end over end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with it, right? And then it's end over end, and I'm with it.
Is it possible for us just to like kind of pantomime behind, step back and kind of show us what the baton drill would look like? Because this was something specifically that Lee asked me, was saying that if we're going to start to feel this main point that you're making of getting the golf club and your body more in balance throughout the entire swing, we're going to be doing this through drills and exercises. So could you kind of show us how the baton drill would work?
I'm going to use, I brought a golf club, but I don't actually have much room to swing. So I'd rather to simulate a golf club, we've got a head and a handle. This is going to mimic a golf club. And the whole idea of this exercise is if you get this thing swinging so that it's swinging end over end, like so, and you just learn to react in motion and sequence with that thing. Get the club moving, and then you move with the club. And you can see I could do this for 24 hours, even though I'm not in very good physical condition. I could probably do this all.
So that's kind of it. You would take a club and just your right hand and turn it from end over end to end over end, both ways in continuous motion.
Then once I've got the feel of that, and what this is look what I'm doing. I'm not going anywhere. The reason I'm not going anywhere is because I've been doing this for a while now, and I'm still where I started. If you do something for a long time and you're still where you started, you're not moving. And so just like in the transition, when the club goes again, the feet instantly respond. Okay? It's a very athletic thing, the ball and the feet in throwing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So it's like the club and the feet. Then everything between the club and the feet is the rest of you responding. Club, let your feet respond. Club, let feet respond. Okay. Now I've got a swing. Now, the personalization, you should be able to do this. One hand, then two, Okay, now I've got two hands, right? I'm going to get the club moving. Okay, like this, and I could do this all day, happily, back and forth with the golf club. Here, back to the top, back to the finish, back to the top. Just keep going. And I'm sequencing myself with the swing of the club. The personalization of that is like Rory, like Justin Thomas, like Ricky Fowler, like all these guys. They're trying to figure out, what do I got to do? Okay. So it's how long do you delay? Your sense, how long do you delay for your body before it takes over? And then how long do you delay the sense of it coming on the other side? It's you learning to balance the golf club, to understand that your main role is to let the club swing and you swing with it. That's your main role in this game. And that's my method in a nutshell. It's the most junior lesson you've ever taken. And I think that junior lesson, that's what I give to tour players. It's what I give to coaches. It's what I give to scratch players and beginners. If you understand how a golf swing works, then that drill is enough for you to find your way within that.
My question about the baton drill in similar to this P8 drill or whatever, it would be that baton drill is a continuous motion and then you kind of join it. But in the golf swing, we're going from like basically dead static to moving, but we're trying to make that more reactionary.
That's where
athletic, and that's
no, it is tough. No, it's a great look. Again, this is why I'm enjoying our collaboration, because you ask all of the questions that I'm dying to answer, but I don't have in my mind to just answer them straight up, right? So this is the thing, is that what you just said is, how do you create that from nothing? Right. Well, this is where it's great to have the two ends, which it is, folded over, because I can get that end going one way. And as soon as I get that end going one way, I can dynamically go the other way from the other end. And now I've created that same thing without going anywhere. And that's where the rubber meets the road. You pointed to exactly where the rubber meets the road. And that's what the first video in my Hidden Fundamentals is about. I said, I don't care what Hogan's secret was. I really don't. The guy's a genius. He had it all figured out. He didn't really tell us, but I can't blame him, because who wants to try to explain all this shit? I mean, look at me. I'm turning myself into knots here trying to explain it. You think Hogan would care to do that?
No.
So, but Snead's deal there is, if everyone can figure out how to start the swing like that, and I've got a video on YouTube, how to start the swing. Bobby Jones, Sam Snead, these guys were the piece de resistance of how to start the golf swing. It's so perfect. Learn to balance the swinging tool. Because you've got to use this. You want to hit the shit out of the ball, you've got to use this tool. You have to use it, right? So learn to use it, learn to balance it, and then figure out the rest. Because if you're just sitting there trying to move it in a particular way, that's not the answer. It'll never be the answer for anybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I have been really working hard putting out a lot of this content with Martin. We have talked just over the last 7 days or so. We have talked for probably about 8 or 9 hours all together. And then a lot of messages and other things back and forth. And it's really, really an interesting journey trying to do something really simple, but you're trying to break some old habits and things, and how to start the swing and then stay in continuous motion the entire time. I'm uploading all of these talks that we've been doing over like video calls. He was in Australia, then he was in a different part of Australia, and now he's in Japan. And I've been uploading all these talks, and also all my range sessions as I've been trying to figure it out. I've started to, it's been a really exciting and interesting journey for me as I've started to hit shots that I wasn't able to before. in particular, a dead solid push. That was always the shot that has plagued me. I want to hit it just slightly right of the target, never having a fear of overdrawing and never pulling. I want to hit slight pushes, and I was able to start doing this using kind of this twirl drill. The baton drill I'm not good at, that you just saw, but I'm trying to get better at. I've been doing this other thing called the twirl drill. I'm putting all this stuff up on the Be Better Golf members side because it is like the fire hose there. This stuff is, I know, really seems very strange to some people, but this is what I would recommend. Just have some of these concepts in your mind, and this is what I did. Go to the range and don't think about geometry at all, your positions and the angle that you're bringing the club in as well. Take a lot of swings with your eyes closed and really just try to keep the force going the entire swing, the same way that you do when you're doing these continuous swing drills. It's so interesting because Dr. Kwan, who's done all this physics work about the golf swing, the number one thing he recommends is stage X, which is continuous swings. This is a bit different in how Martin's telling you to do it, but it's funny that they came to the same conclusion. Click the subscribe button if you want to see all this content that I've put up on the member side. Click the join button down there. It's really inexpensive, and it gives you like a ton of extra content, especially stuff that's like I want to put out there, but I just don't want to like edit it. But it wouldn't be healthy for the YouTube channel to put up a 2.5-hour talk of this stuff. But it is really good for the hardcore people that want to get into it. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.